Hey everybody, Marcus Crawford here with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Before we get into this video, a couple things I wanted to tell you about. Some recent developments, some discounts on some drones. This morning I saw on Ron Brown's channel, RC World, that Banggood has a special on the Xeno right now. You use a discount code and you can get it for 269 bucks. And I got on there and I looked it up. I used the code and put it in there and it works. And I know that it works in the United States. I don't know about anywhere else in the world, but I'll put that discount code in the description down below. I am not affiliated with Banggood or anything at all. I just saw that and thought I'd let you guys know. If you can pick up the Xeno for 269 bucks, man, why wouldn't you? And then the other one is, this also came from Ron Brown. He posted in his RC World Facebook page that you can get from TomTop now, from their US warehouse, the DJI Spark for roughly $235, just under 235 bucks. And in fact, I bought one. I figured, hey, when are you going to see one that cheap? So if you go on TomTop's website, and if you look up the Spark, and if you click on the US warehouse, you will see that deal. And both of these, I guess I should add, I'm not affiliated with either one of those companies. Got no skin in that game. Just trying to pass on the deals to you. I will post in the description the code for the Banggood website for the Hubsan. I'll put that in there. How long either of those are effective, I have no idea. So what I would say is, if you're looking for either a Spark or a Xeno, I would act fast. But I wanted to get that on this video so that everybody would see it and have an opportunity to act if they wanted to do it. Anyway, on with the rest of the video. Hey everybody, this is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Of course, a shout out to my friends at the Drone Seekers, and hello to all the drone enthusiasts out there. Hey, so today I want to take one more run at explaining some of the differences between the Hubsan Zino and more expensive drones. There has been some videos and some commentary that I've seen out lately, again, that are really kind of throwing the little Hubsan Zino under the bus. And while I want to acknowledge that it is not a perfect product by any means, it's just really not as bad as what some people make it out to be. And it is, I think, a product that can be of value to some drone enthusiasts out there. So let's talk about some of the issues that people are having with it. And I've shown them on my own channel. If you look at my videos where I test the various firmware upgrades, etc., you'll see some of them. So we talk about, let me grab it here. So we talk about the little, the Hubsan drop, right? Where you take off and then it drops down about a foot or two. Yeah, that's something, and it's there. It's part of the deal with the Hubsan. But if you're doing an auto takeoff and you're aware of it, hey, you just give it a little more upstick, and it really isn't an issue. And then if you're doing a manual takeoff, it's not an issue at all. And for me, for demonstration purposes, I've been using auto takeoff in some of my videos. But I'll be honest with you, normally I would probably just do a hand launch with it. That's doable. And so, I just don't see the Hubsan drop. I talk about it a lot on my videos, but I don't really see it as a big issue or a problem for the product. Now, the other thing on my last video, I was showing you how the Xeno dives a little bit on acceleration. There again, a couple of points there. Honestly, how often are you going to be flying that low to the ground, really? probably not very often. And secondly, as long as you're aware of that, hey, it's just something that you compensate for. You give it a little upstick, and you know you can compensate for it. So again, I don't see that as big of an issue as what some people say. Now, would I be doing a spinning yaw in my backyard close to my fence or the side of my house or something with this drone? Probably not. Is this a drone even that you would be, that I would recommend that you do close quarters flying with? In other words, you'll see a lot of people with their DJI Mavics. Boy, they'll get in among the trees and they'll snake through the trees, and that's really cool and it's great. And the Mavic has those capabilities. This little guy doesn't. So it's just not something that I would use for that kind of flying. There again, it's a $300 drone. Hubsan had it on sale for $300 recently, or less than, like $295. I think it's gone back up to their $369 price now. But also, Banggood had it on sale for well under $300 as well. So this is a fairly reasonably priced GPS drone that you can use with a 4K camera on it, 3-axis gimbal. Pretty astounding value. So now let's look at the differences between this and what you might find on a more expensive drone. So if you look at the bottom here, there are no sensors. There's no downward facing camera. There's no sonic sensors. There's no optical flow. And then you see there's nothing on the sides either. There's no kind of other sensors that would be used for obstacle avoidance, etc. So the only thing that this drone has other than GPS, it's got a barometer inside. Now, I acknowledge there's other drones that the barometer works better than it does on the little Xeno. But there again, if you know that, I think you can compensate for it, and it really isn't an issue. So let me compare that. I've got my Mavic here. Let me grab it. So this is a Mavic 2 Zoom, and just right off the bat at the front, obviously you have the front-facing zoom camera, but you also have 2 cameras on the front for obstacle avoidance. You could fly this thing straight at a wall, and it's not going to let you do it. It's going to stop before you get there. So then let's look at the bottom here. This thing has these are LEDs that it uses in low light conditions, and it's really cool. If you've ever used this thing at night, then it's coming down, then all of a sudden the landing lights go on. It's really a really cool feature. And then it's got also an optical camera that it's looking at the ground, knowing where it's at. And these are infrared sensors in here that there again, it helps it know where it is in space. And then obviously DJI is very sophisticated. They have a very sophisticated GPS system and barometer in this thing, and IMU that keeps it stable. Then also, if you look on the side, you see another camera here, another camera on this side. So obstacle avoidance. So when you're flying sideways, it's not going to let you fly sideways into something. It's going to stop you. Now you can disable those if you'd like to, and then in some modes that they don't work. So you need to be aware of that, but it shows you right on the app that happens. Then if you look on the back, you've got a couple of cameras there. And what do all those things do? They tell this guy where it's at in space. And that's why it won't dive down upon acceleration. And that's how it can do the precision landing too, where it will land exactly where it took off from, because it records that look as it's taking off, and then when it comes back, that uses those downward facing sensors to figure out where that is. So just a flippin' phenomenal piece of technology. I mean, this thing is just absolutely amazing, and really just a joy to fly. And that said, if you buy the Mavic 2 Pro version of this, it's $1,500, $1,500. So the little Hubsan here is $300. So you could literally buy 5 of these for what you paid for one of these. So of course this is going to be more sophisticated, and it's going to operate more smoothly and have all those obstacle avoidance features and know where it's at in space better than the little Hubsan. So don't buy the Xeno thinking that you're going to get a Mavic 2, because you're just not. You can fly this in your backyard. I could turn off the obstacle avoidance on this thing and fly it within inches of my fence in my backyard or anything, and I could spin it around in a yaw and all that and be perfectly comfortable doing it, because it has that technology built in that allow it to do that. The Xeno doesn't. So, just don't kid yourself and think that the Xeno is going to be able to do those same kind of things. So the other drone that I have, and it's doesn't have quite everything that the Mavic 2 does, but I bought this used on eBay, and it's a Phantom 4. And it's got, if you look at it, it's got front-facing obstacle avoidance cameras there, so it knows where it's at in space. And then if you look at the bottom, it's got 2 cameras down here that tell it where it's at, and then it's got 2 sonic sensors that tell it how far it is above the ground. And this is a smooth flying, amazing piece of technology that you can fly it around with a lot of confidence and be pretty close to stuff. Hey, so a couple more points that I want to make with the Xeno is, if you look at some of my past videos where I've test flown it, I've actually kind of tortured this thing to try and show that it's a pretty robust little product. I read over and over again in forums and even in some YouTube comments where people say, you know what, I'm just putting it away. I'm afraid to fly it. I just I don't know what it's going to do. Well, I think I've proven that you do know what it's going to do. It's going to come home every time. I've done all those experiments, turning off the controller, unhooking the phone. I've tried every way to make this thing fly away or do something weird. And you know what? It comes back home every time, and it lands within a meter or so of where it took off almost every time. So I'm saying that it's pretty good in that regard, and you don't need to be afraid of it. Boy, fly the drone and have fun. So yeah, that's about the size of it. So as far as recommendations for this product, I want to say that this is not a drone that I would fly in windy conditions. I've proven on my videos, and other people have too, that it doesn't really cope that well with much wind. Now, if you got 5 or 6 mile an hour winds, that's not going to hurt it. But anything much above that, I find that if you're approaching 10 miles an hour, there's things that go on. That's when it really moves around in space, and then you get a little bit of that circular motion, and it's just not as steady as some other drones in high wind situations. I don't know what all technical reasons there is for that. Could be the power of the motors, could be the GPS. I don't know, but I just know from experience that's a fact. So also, if you are an individual that is afraid of doing anything technical, in other words, this thing requires updates to the firmware once in a while, and Hubsan has some pretty comprehensive videos on how to do that. And honestly, I'm not a super technical guy, but I can do some things, and I follow those videos, and hey, I'm able to get them all done, and they've consistently improved this little thing. But I totally get it. If you're the kind of person that doesn't want to do that, you just want to fly it out of the box, and then you know what, this probably isn't the drone for you. You probably should look, if you're looking for a lower priced drone, the DJI Spark is awesome. It doesn't have a 4K camera like this, and it doesn't have the flight time but boy, is it an amazing little piece of technology. And yeah, it does updates too, but it does them automatically through the DJI Go 4 app. So yeah, just want to point that out. So if you're a little bit afraid of technology and doing some technical things, this probably isn't the drone for you either. But other than that, if you're just trying to find out if you like the drone hobby and you want to take some decent video, man, this for 300 bucks, I just don't think you can go wrong with this thing. And I think these kind of drones are also good for DJI as well, because you're going to fly this thing around for a while, and then you're going to want to step up a little bit. So then you're going to buy a Mavic Pro or a Mavic 2 or you know, one of a Mavic Air or something like that. So you know, that's just my 2 cents on it. Hey, so if you know the limitations of this little guy, it is a very capable little quadcopter, and it's got a 4K camera, and it takes really good video. No, it doesn't. It's not to the quality level of the DJI Phantom or the Mavic 2. It's not. It's a $300 drone, but it takes really good video. It's phenomenal video, and Hubsan has upgraded the firmware for the FPV for the camera that has really improved it a lot. So hey, I am just going to I'm going to take the little guy out and do some scenic flying with it, and show you just what this thing is capable of. So it's fighting the wind pretty good, but we're going to go ahead and get some altitude, and we're going to go out over the lake here for a little bit. It's so windy I can barely keep my hat on. In fact, I just lost my hat there. So we'll go out over the lake here a ways. I'm going against the wind right now, so shouldn't have any problem coming back, but I just wanted to kind of make a point that the little Xeno, a lot of people are afraid to fly it, and you know, claiming that it's not stable enough, etc. We're probably, like I said, the wind is blowing hard enough that I can't keep a cap on my head. Yeah, I'd say it's pretty stable, and we'll just do a little pan around here. You can see that it's holding its position fine, and you know, even in these kind of winds, and I think we're you know, we're probably sustained 8 or 10 mile an hour winds here, and probably gusts, I'm sure, up to 15 to 20 miles an hour. So this thing has got a 4K camera on it, and takes pretty darn good video. And at the price point that this drone is, I think that's a tremendous value. Boy, it is cold and windy here, folks. I was hoping for a nice calm day, and I actually came out here yesterday and kind of had these same issues, so I thought, well, if I'm going to take some video, it's probably now or never. So went ahead and threw it up in the air, and you know, honestly, it's doing fine, and we've got some really high winds. So there that's me. You can see there in it's kind of an overlook out over Lucky Peak Reservoir here. So we're going against the wind now, and you know, it seems like it's coping pretty good. We'll kind of fly up this little spur here as I watch the Xeno fly over the top of me. So that road you see there, that's Highway 21. It goes up to Idaho City, Idaho, up in the mountains. You can see snow on the peaks up there. There's still plenty of snow when you get up in the elevations. And if you've seen some of my other videos, you can see that the reservoir is filling up with water here. And we'll, as soon as we get the spring runoff, boy, this thing will be full clear to the top. Let's go over the top of this little peninsula here. Kind of going into the sun here a little bit. I'm gonna get some altitude just for the fun of it. Wind's kind of calmed down. Well, as soon as I say that, another gust blows up. But so Lucky Peak Reservoir here was built in the early 50s, and its primary purpose is for off-stream storage. Because this is an agricultural area, the farmers need water, and it's on the Boise River, and it does have a little power generator that you can kind of, well, you can't see it from this side, but ironically, the power generation facility was put up there by Seattle City Light, not an Idaho company, but anyway. Well, we're up here about, let's see, there we are right there. So we've been in the air now for about 7 minutes and some pretty strong wind, and we're showing 47% battery. And I've been at pretty much full throttle the whole time, so my experience is I typically get about 20 minutes out of battery life out of this little guy, roughly. So we're gonna fly right over the top of where we're at here. That's me. And that's the highway there. And there's the dam. Lucky Peak Dam. Like I said, I pretty much held the throttle at 100% this whole flight. Well, it's given me the 40% battery warning, so I am not going to push it in this kind of wind. Although the drone seems to be handling it fine, there's probably no reason to push it. There we are. Boy, that's really getting blown around up there. Okay, I'm gonna bring her down here. Okay, we're gonna try and do a hand catch. Boy, it is really blowing around. I'm watching this poor little guy. It's really getting blown around. So I'm reaching up to it now. That may not have been the smartest thing to do because the drone was getting blown around so bad, but I just reached up and did a hand catch. So anyway, we'll throw this up on the video. Like I said, mostly I wanted to show what this 4K camera could do and get some scenic pictures. And I think we also proved that you know what, it handled the high winds fine. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that little bit of scenic video there. I just wanted to demonstrate, you know, what this thing is capable of. And yeah, so this is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out. And hopefully you enjoyed this content. And if you'd like, I would really be happy if you'd subscribe to my channel. But most of all, hey, just thank you very much for watching this video. And we'll see you on the next one.